Have you noticed that for years and years and years, women have been lying about their age? Have you heard the latest, though? Maybe some of you are like some of my friends. The newest craze is to actually instead of taking some years off of your age, add some years onto your age. And that way, don't we look good? By the way, I just turned 74. When you were teenagers, did you spend hours and hours in front of the mirror, putting on makeup, trying to look older? Now, do you spend dollars and dollars trying to look younger? Just last week, I asked my mom, who happens to be 87. I said, "Hey, Mom, did you go on that outing that was scheduled for the Fountains of Mission, the retirement residence that she lives at?" And she said to me, "Nah, I skipped that one." And I said, "Oh, how come, Mom? You love going on all those outings." She said to me, "Well, you know, IJ, that one was for the old people." Are we all just in denial? Or is it a case of us actually feeling younger and better than we think we're supposed to feel at our age? When was the last time you felt old? When was the last time you felt young? When was the last time you felt just right for your age? Tonight, what I would like is for us to consider the realities. I would like to share some of the secrets, and let's talk about some of the possibilities when it comes to women and age. Let's start with reality. Isn't that kind of the dark side? The horrors, especially for women of a certain age? I don't know about you, but for me, the first thing was my eyesight. How many of you have a pair of reading glasses with you at all times? Don't you just hate not being able to see? My colleague earlier was talking about looking things up in the phone book. I don't do that anymore, because guess what? They're making the print smaller and smaller. Not like the National Post. The National Post actually gets it. We're their target market. And so they're making their print bigger. Yes. The only time it might be good when we can't quite see as clearly as we used to is when it comes to those wrinkles. Because maybe that old adage, what we can't see can't hurt us, applies. It's been said that we wear our whole lives on our faces. So every wrinkle shares a time of sorrow, shares a time of joy. I know all about facial expressions. I used to be a Crown prosecutor. In those days, there were often times when I'd be standing in court doing my thing, and the judge would be doing something, saying something, the case wasn't quite going the way that I thought it should, but I was always smart enough to button my lip and not blurt out something I'd regret. But I was afraid often that I might be the first person in court in Canada to be cited for contempt for facial expressions. You know, I wonder about Mother Nature. Those of you who know me know I love the great outdoors. But sometimes I think Mother Nature is just plain mean. One of the situations that comes to mind is that menopause time of life. It's the time when I really, really, really need and want to wear sleeveless blouses. But isn't that also the time when we start to get our nice bat wings? Isn't that cruel? On a more serious note, James Brown, an NFL football player, actually said that we can't get old without living. Profound words for a sports figure. I thought that I knew what that meant. I've heard and experienced and have known all my life how important it is to have the opportunity and to have our families in our lives and our friends. In 1969, it was a beautiful sunny morning in Saskatchewan, and as a 9-year-old, I was snug as a bug in a rug in my bed. I woke up that morning and I knew that something wasn't right. I could hear people crying. My dad had passed away. 1987, I got the call. My 37-year-old brother died of a heart attack in his sleep. So I understand how precious and how short our lives can be. But it wasn't until recently when a woman who I've known since grade 4 passed away, and I was sitting in the funeral service, and it really hit home. We have milestones in our lives. We think we are immortal. We're not. And it reminded me and my girlfriends who traveled to be together to share in the celebration of that special life. We also shared in the opportunity to say, okay, if that's what it takes for us to understand, let's use it as a catalyst. Let's make sure that we give thanks to the people who are important to us in our lives. And that's one, if not the first, secret that I'd like to share with you, is that if you care, you will live a longer and better life. And the road to Hades, as you know, is paved with good intentions. We need to express those intentions. We have to say thanks. We have to seek out those people that are important in our lives and not end up with a regret. We have to appreciate and acknowledge those realities. There's a woman that I've read about who intrigued me. Her name is Kam Sung Luk. She starts every day with an hour of yoga. And lots of you know that I enjoy yoga, so it's probably no surprise that I'd be interested to hear about this woman's story. Every day, of course, except for Wednesday, and those days she actually does an hour of Tai Chi. It doesn't seem that remarkable until you hear the other part of the story. Kam Sung is 104 years old. When asked, why do you do it? She says, it's good for my back. I manage to do about a half an hour most workday mornings. My excuse is, I'm just going to turn 50 next year. I'll work up to the hour by the time I'm 100. Many of you have heard of Dr. Oz and Dr. Rosen and all of their You books, and they make it really clear to us that those of us who have passion in our lives potentially are 8 years younger than our biological age. Isn't that amazing? And passion comes in many forms. Back to my mom. Recently, she needed to, as we say, graduate to a wheeled walker. It's the right thing for her to do, and she's the one who initiated and made that choice, making it really easy on us kids. The very first thing that my mom decided she needed to do was customize her own wheeled walker. She has knit forever, but now, to begin with, she was the only person that I've known or seen who actually had their own customized hand-knit chair cushion for their wheeled walker. My husband calls it her own small business. She's busy knitting them for all her friends. We're sending them to Saskatchewan. There'll be a pile of them at the bazaar. Tell your friends. No. But it gives her a sense of purpose. And she loves it. She loves that she can still create the pattern and put cables in this one this time and square blocks the next time and all those kinds of things. I am not saying that we have to like aging. I'm inviting us to embrace our age. Is it possible for each and every one of us to live as well as these remarkable women? Absolutely. And certainly, the possibilities are endless. Please help me finish this phrase. Midlife. Midlife. Absolutely. Great to see the yin and the yang. Often we get stuck in the vortex of the midlife crisis. But midlife is really practically the beginning of a second whole life for most of us, especially in this day and age when our longevity, our expectations for us in North America, in Canada, we can expect as women especially to live well into our 80s, if not our 90s. And the fastest growing group of Canadians is our centenarians. Midlife doesn't have to be a crisis. Midlife is not the end, it is the beginning. And it is an opportunity, certainly, to start to learn something completely new and different if we want to. And in fact, Edith Choice, who happens to be 82, says, you're never too old to learn something new. And guess what she was learning new? Belly dancing. I don't have the nerve for that. But when you're 82, what the heck? She feels beautiful. She shares it with her friends. It's the social aspect, the physical exercise of it all. And what it does is it reminds me of that old Wonder Bra commercial. Many of you might recall it as well. Some of you might be a little too young. But when I look good, I feel good. And when I feel good, I look great. My personal favorite in terms of possibilities, the Calendar Girls. My mom was in the first calendar for the Calendar Girls at the Fountains of Mission. Top hat, tails, fishnet stockings, legs, insured by Lloyd's of London, is what they said in the calendar. The second one, she was a go-go dancer. She, didn't really like her costume. And the third one, she said, you know, I've been there, done that. There's lots of other women and men in their 80s and 90s at the Fountains of Mission. Give somebody else a turn. Well, didn't they decide that this time the theme needed to be classic cars, classic gals? And my husband happens to have a 1964 Galaxy convertible. So you can just imagine who was driving that car in that calendar. Not only were they all dutied up, as they might say, kind of like we were tonight with our makeup, they looked good, they felt good, they had fun, and they showed they cared because they were doing it all for charity. In a nutshell, almost a perfect possibility. Canada Day was a very cool day this year. And not because of anything special happening on the national front, but I happened to be out in our front yard when our neighbor, Benny, was walking by. And Benny is often walking by because she does public transit, so she was headed to the bus. I said, hey, Benny, where are you off to today? Stops long enough, cowboy hat on, cowboy boots. It's almost Stampede, July the 1st. And she says, well, you know, I'm off to catch the bus to meet some friends at Fort Calgary. The Northwest Mounted Police are doing their musical ride today. And I'm like, good on you, Benny. You know, we would love to go, but what about the crowds? And it's going to be really hot today and all those kinds of things. And she said, it'll be fun. It'll be great. Why wouldn't I? 8 days later, Benny celebrated her 100th birthday. Put us to shame. So if we know the secrets, if we know the possibilities, if we acknowledge the realities, then it really is up to us. What you see in your mirror, kind of like what William Shatner said in that movie, Miss Congeniality. He said, one morning you might wake up, look in the mirror, and wonder who that old guy is in your pajamas. But so what? Beauty might be in the eye of the beholder. Our age is really in our mind and our heart and our soul. We have the power to leverage our age if we want to. Remarkable women are the ones who do tell. What I'd like to invite you to do is to share with me a little bit of a mantra. Let's try it all together. What we'll do first is whisper it. What we will do is we'll say, I, state your name, am, state your age, and I have the power. Let's try it first, just whispering. Okay. All together. I, J. McIntyre, am 49, and I have the power. Okay. Could we try it all standing and whisper? Let's just whisper. I, state your name, I, J. McIntyre, am 49, and I have the power. And all together, say it loud and proud. I, J. McIntyre, am 49, and I have the power. Woohoo! Be remarkable women. It is up to you. We have the opportunity to leverage our power to acknowledge the realities and live those secrets through those possibilities. One last thing, do tell. Thank you.